What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Friday. Today we've got Joel Montiel here.
How's it going? Which camera is it? Which
It's this one.
Okay, perfect.
Go,
What's going on, guys? Good morning.
Good morning. And we got Nick over there.
Hello.
Too, on the
Hi, everybody. Good to see you.
Put the camera on John Krasinski. Looking over there, man.
The fat John Krasinski.
The Ben. You're not fat, bro. You're not.
Oh,
fat
thank
at all.
you.
But Sam is still in Korea, enjoying time with his wife and his kid, and also our parents. So he will not be joining us today. But guys, welcome to our live show, Kwak Brothers live show this Friday. We got a lot of exciting things we're going to talk about. Nick, what do we got to talk about today, my friend?
Oh, man, we're going to be talking about the housing market. We're going to be talking about minimum wage. We're going to talk about cryptocurrency. Guys, cryptocurrency. What do you think about that, Joel?
Cryptocurrency.
I like it. I mean, it's made me a decent amount of money so far. I'm a believer in it. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot happening in Congress right now with the American Rescue Plan. We're going to save America.
We're going to save America great again.
I don't know if those two mix up. But I think we're getting people logging on right now.
We are. By the way, Nick, I'm pretty sure that Joel doesn't look like this African-American gentleman over here.
I got a tan.
No, we're good. This guy's. By the way, we have fun. You know what I mean? And you know they say love what you do. Literally, the guy manning the camera, Joel, Mello, the guy was here last week. I mean, these guys are like my best friends in life, my brothers. So for me to be able to do this is some really cool stuff. But I want to go ahead and start off as people are piling in. Guys, like this video, of course, subscribe to our channel. But as the people are piling in, I want to go ahead and go over the January jobs report that just recently came out. And I'm going to go over some research and statistics when it comes to real estate. And I want to not get these out of the way, but I want to make sure that you guys are well informed. If you guys are watching the recording, I want to get right to the data because crypto, we got minimum wage. A lot of these things are going to take up a lot of time, and we're going to dive deep into what we got going on. So let's go ahead and get right into the January Jobs Act. There we go. Look at that. Look at that face right there. Oh, yeah. All right, anyway, let's go ahead and look at the January Jobs Act. So non-farm payrolls overall. So here's the title. January Jobs Report, Yahoo Finance released it this morning. I actually watched the video as I was working out. January Jobs Report, economy added 49,000 payrolls as unemployment rate dropped to 6.3%, which, by the way, guys, not that big of a drop. It went from 6.6/6.7. which that was the number in January. It's now to 6.3. And I'm going to break down in a second here, guys, what different industries we're looking at in terms of jobs. Where are they going? But if we're going to do a jobs breakdown right now, it reported that average hourly earnings year over year, 5.4%, which is today, right? Today in January, the Jobs Report Act, 5.4% in terms of average hourly earnings year over year increase, versus 5% last year, expected to be 5.1% in December. The average hourly earnings month over month, we're looking at 0.2% versus 0.3%, revised 1% in December. The unemployment rate, again, 6.3% compared to 6.7% in December. And we're looking at non-farm payrolls, 49,000, which is plus 105,000 expected, and revised negative 225,000 in December. Those are pretty big numbers. And let me knock this out and finish this out by saying that restaurants and bars, unfortunate guys, because we here as Illinoisans,
yeah, they've been hit hard.
They've been hit hard, man.
For sure.
Well, they just now opened the restaurants here in Illinois, didn't they?
Yeah, the ones
just recently.
Yeah, the ones I think. Yeah, all of a sudden I think recently they're trying to get back to the phases where at limited capacity. Of course, I know there's restaurants that were open anyways. Once you kind of get more out to the suburbs, but. Did the results come back worse than expected?
I don't know. I have no idea. But here's the thing. So restaurants and bars cut 19,400 jobs.
Jeez.
So then that's not even counting hotels, resorts, and other businesses in the lodging industry that lost 18.3. So 18,300 jobs. So you're talking about almost 40,000 jobs that were cut in the restaurants and bars. And for me, I thought we'd be past this.
Yeah.
I thought we were done.
No.
You know, but which, by the way, shout out to all the restaurant owners in Illinois that stayed open despite the government mandates. Shout out to those guys.
And those who are surviving. I mean, if you're like in the last year surviving in the restaurant industry, like you could survive anything basically.
Yes.
Right. I mean, it's been tough.
And surely enhancements put it. What do you think about food trucks? I love food trucks, man. I thought they were the kind of the what do you call it? The silver lining in all this.
Yeah.
A lot of restaurants adopted to food trucks.
Yeah. There's I live in a neighborhood where it's more out in the country, and even
Yeah.
food trucks are getting out there, which is you
For
never
sure.
seen before in the last 6 years that I've lived there. So
Yeah. OG Kush, great name by the way. 617. I kind of wish it was OG Kush 619. Right? If you guys know that reference, congratulations. You're kind of like our age. In your opinion, is now a good time to buy your first house hack? 2 to 3 family house in a super expensive market like the greater Boston area? No. If anything, I think historically speaking, it's the absolute worst time to house hack, because think about what's happening right now. We have 2.15 million Americans in serious delinquencies. We have 14 million Americans that are not able to pay their rent right now. That 12 million Americans owe us more than $6,000 per person. And I mean, it's a very high delinquency rate. And in a scenario where you're having banking tighten a little bit, especially because of liquidity issues that they foresee coming, I don't think house hacking, you need as much cash flow in your investments as much right now as you've ever needed before. And having a house hack system where you have, the theory is you have one unit pay for your mortgage, the other pays for your expenses, and you virtually get free housing. Unless you have a solid, predictable W-2 income, I wouldn't do house hacking, just in my opinion. Unless, go ahead.
I was going to say, not only that, we're about to, with the eviction moratorium extension, we're about to head to almost a year, like literally a whole year of people not paying rent.
Yeah.
And so to get into something like that right now, knowing that they may start even extending it more, that's hard. 1 year without rent.
That's tough. So again, unless you have a job where you're making solid money, I mean, I'd say what, like $80,000 a year minimum. You got your job is in an industry where it's protected by all this stuff going on. Unless you're doing that, I wouldn't pull the trigger on it. Which, by the way, great questions. Keep putting in your questions, guys. Like Joel said, let us know what your questions are in the chat box. I'm going to finish off this jobs report. So professional and business services. So we saw a pretty healthy gain of 97,000 jobs in January for professional and business gains. A lot of people are speculating that that's because of tax season.
Maybe.
So tax seasons are included in business services. Yeah. A lot of consultants being hired, and Sam and I just hired a consultant for our business. Stronger hiring amongst computer system designers and consultants. So there you have it. So 16,100 consultants hired last month. The industries gaining the highest jobs: professional and business services, government's at 43,000.
Of course.
Government, there you go, the capital one. Information, 16,000. Wholesale trade, 14,300. Mining and lodging and financial activities. The biggest losses, minus 61,000 jobs. Leisure and hospitality.
Yeah.
At 40,800, healthcare and social assistance. And retail trades at 37,000.
Yeah.
So there it is, your jobs report for January.
OG Kush 617 asks another question. He says, so do you recommend buying a single family or a condo? I think that was his secondary question from the 2 or 3 family.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, so he put in more information just now. So I'm a business consultant, and I don't want to miss the train on buying first property while interest rates are low and true inflation ramps up. So if you're asking me between a single family house and a condo, well, first off, it depends on where these two things are. If I were you, if you're able to buy a single family house that's comped at the same prices 3-4 years ago, and you're able to get a good deal, absolutely. Just make sure that the area is in a growth area. Make sure that you're obviously able to afford it. Your income meets it. But it's tough. I mean, it's such a big seller's market. I actually just recently did a video on how to solve the affordable housing crisis. Nick, is that coming out Monday 6?
Yes, sorry.
No, you're good. So that's coming out on Monday at 6 p.m.
You know one thing that I've noticed a lot, and people are asking these questions, I feel like people are out there right now buying properties just for the reason that the interest rates are low. I mean, it can knock cash flow. It can, taxes are high. I was talking to someone the other day where they were in New Jersey and they had purchased a property, I think, with taxes at like $17,000 for the year.
Oh my God.
Which is unbelievable. And the main reason from listening was because the interest rates are low, which, like I said, at the end of the day, if the deal makes sense, it makes sense. But you shouldn't be buying it just for the reason that the interest rates are low. In my opinion.
You don't do that. That's like dating a guy just because he has money. You know what I mean? Eventually that money's going to dry. It's going to dry out.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool. So, gentlemen, let's go ahead and move on to crypto. right? I think now is the time to talk about crypto. I think a lot of people want to talk about crypto, and it's kind of been the belle of the ball, hasn't it? The last like 2 or 3 months or so.
Yeah. Well, I think even with what happened in with the whole Wall Street bets thing, I think that had right now. I think Ethereum hit the all-time high today.
Jeez.
If I'm correct, but I think a big part of that is people are kind of moving towards trusting that a little bit more. I think anytime you see new talks of a stimulus package coming out too, people want to put their money in something other than, value the dollar. And so I think that helps as well. And when people get that money, even the small guys, they put their money in
for sure
in crypto, right? Because it sounds, that's kind of what the hype is right now. And so there's a lot of good things. I think Ethereum hit the top today. I think it's up 8-10%. Ethereum's one that's coming up really big right now. There was other news that came out too, that I was telling Danny about. Cynthia Loomis, which is a senator, I believe, from Wyoming.
Okay.
She just got assigned to the banking committees. And so she's kind of taking...
That's pretty big.
Yeah, she's taking role. And based on here, I'll let you speak, and then I'll kind of read what
So do your research. I've got devil's advocate on this, because we always need a devil's advocate. But Joel, provide us with your research. Nick, I want you to go afterwards.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give you the heads up, and then I wanna hear your guys' thoughts on what I'm about to say.
Are you going to be Peter Schiff?
Yeah.
Is he against Bitcoin? I haven't heard from him yet.
Yeah, no.
Is he?
For like a short-term investment, for like, quick turnaround on money, he's like, yeah, of course. But then he's like, no, for a long-term investment.
So I'm not against, by the way, just for clarity, I'm not against crypto. I actually really think crypto is a very interesting investment. You know what I mean? We definitely have to have more information, but I think it's a solid investment. I don't think it's a bad move at all, but I'll be the devil's advocate just for today. Okay, go ahead, Joel.
So let me read what Senator Cynthia Loomis, and this is a article from February 4th, so that would have been yesterday, and she says, through my role, and this is her, getting welcome to the bank committee. Through my role on the bank committee, I hope to shine light on many of these pioneering efforts and work with federal regulators to ensure that regulation of assets are structured to encourage innovation instead of stifling it. And so that's interesting, because a lot of people are worried that the government's going to come in and kind of like what they're known for is kind of ruin it with the regulation, which is the reason why people like crypto so much, is because of
that's true.
This
very true.
The decentralization. And so it's nice seeing it may help, it may not. I want to hear your thoughts on that. Do you think government involved will help or hurt?
Yeah, it's gonna hurt it.
You think so?
There's no way. I mean, Nick, what do you think, man? I mean, you're a former veteran. You're a veteran.
Yes.
You're not a former veteran. You're a
No,
veteran.
I am.
You know very much how governments work, but you've done a lot of research, my friend, on crypto.
Yeah, as of recently, yeah. So what I can say about the government, they ruin everything, right? Going to the shooting range used to be fun, but then, the government will take the fun out of everything, right? But the cool thing I like about crypto is that it's worldwide, right? It's not just the NASDAQ, the NYSE, it's worldwide. So what got me interested in crypto is the fact that it could be like a world currency, right? And there's a lot of technology to back it up. So like as our fiat currency system right now, especially with the US dollar, it's backed by thin air. You know what I mean? But at least with crypto, there is a technology that backs it up. You know what I mean? There is a value to that currency. And just to let the crowd know, XRP, baby, we're going to the moon. Go buy it now.
Doge to the moon.
Wait. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a caveman.
There you go. Yeah, you got to put that little disclaimer in there.
I'm a caveman.
Okay, cool. So any other thoughts from you guys on crypto right now? I mean, guys, leave your comments. We got about 40 people in this chat right now. What are your guys' thoughts on cryptocurrency? Which ones do you guys like? Which ones do you don't like? But what do you guys think?
I think right now I think what most people are looking at, and I think you should, is people are looking at it as the hedge against the dollar.
Yeah.
Which right now it's a good time to bet against the dollar with everything that's going on. And I think that's a big reason why it's been performing so well, is because what you see is the dollar performs bad, which it has, crypto or, Bitcoin, Ethereum, a lot of these different cryptos, they end up doing better. Because like I said, people are losing trust in the dollar. I think people understand that, even people like myself that, have a hard time understanding complex like that, because crypto is complex. It makes you trust it a little bit more, and all of a sudden you're putting money in crypto.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys this question, and also the 40 people that we have watching, right? Is there a point where the crypto market, and I'm not just talking about Bitcoin or Ethereum or Litecoin, do we have a point where there's so many different coins out there that number one, it becomes oversaturated, and number two, it ends up just being like the world currency again, where you have the yen, you've got the dollar. Is there a point where these different currencies of cryptocurrency, these different coins, well, there has to be a hedge. Will there be a conversion rate?
Yeah.
How far is this going to go?
One of the biggest differences with a lot of different is they have different technologies that back them when it comes to blockchain and stuff like that. Like the reason why Ethereum is doing so well is because it has certain technologies that things like Bitcoin can't do and things like that. And so the reason why I'm a fan and I'm a long-term believer is because the advancement of technology.
Yeah.
And the blockchain technology provides a form of transparency that the Federal Reserve has really never shown. And so when you're talking about AI and just technology in general, it's easy to trust that compared to the Federal Reserve and hence all this money printing that's going on. And so we'll see what happens. A lot of people are saying, professionals out there, that you will see a crash come, it's going to come back to 20,000. I think at this point it's here to stay. I'm going to go with Elon Musk on this one.
Yeah.
And say that it's here to stay.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing about those experts. What data and research are you using to back up those statements?
Yeah.
Have we ever seen anything like cryptocurrency before, where it's such a globalized currency? It's backed by technology. It's backed by the actual infrastructure as opposed to another commodity. Because for a long time, the dollar was backed by the gold until Nixon took it off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, has there been anything like this?
No, until the universal adoption of the U.S. dollar, because the U.S. dollar is like the world's reserve currency, correct?
Yes.
So, but the thing that I like about crypto, and I'm just a caveman. I don't know a lot of stuff, but a lot of the movement of money is slow and expensive, right? And so with coins like XRP and XLM, that could definitely replace the SWIFT system that we use right now for wire transfers. And so there's different coins for different purposes, right? So, and this is way over my head as far as like how it all works. But what I can say is like efficiency, and banks are starting to adopt this stuff in Asia already, especially with XRP. There's a lot of banks adopting that platform already, just to kind of take extra fees out and extra like just time, because time is money. Time is money. So if you're trying to, and the thing with XRP is like big commercial, investors are looking at this thing in order to be able to transfer money quicker and cheaper.
Yeah. So I'm going to be a hater.
Please do.
I'm going to be a hater here for a second. I got two questions for you guys, two thoughts that may pull the word. And by the way, like, participate here, right? For those guys watching, like, let me know what I'm about to drop here. If you think it's a legitimate argument, do you disagree? Do you agree? So here's the first argument. The first argument is that, for one, right now I'll be very honest with you guys. I have not seen enough from cryptocurrency in general, from that industry, to say that it could be something that a globalized economy uses for actual buy and trade, right? So for actual business transactions. I've seen some of it, right? Like I've seen certain places in like Japan and certain places here where they take cryptocurrency as payment, right? But in order for crypto to be universally recognized as something that you can use to transact in business, it has to be regulated by the government, which we've already agreed that by the time the government gets their dirty little paws on it, that it's going to drop and decrease the actual essence of what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Which people love crypto because, again, it's
decentralized.
It's decentralized, right? There's no Joe Schmo who, by the way, is getting paid underneath the table by Robinhood and TD Ameritrade and these big hedge funds. There's no politician in there with an agenda, with money sacks in his pocket, trying to centralize everything and regulate everything towards the favor of the individuals that he's being bribed by. And I'm going to use that word, right? So until then, right now, I see just crypto as a commodity. But doesn't crypto then face the challenge of, if it wants to be recognized as a global currency where you can transact on it? Because I think that is the goal for the people who are very hardcore about Bitcoin and very hardcore about crypto. Like, that is the direction that they want to move at, which is they want to be transact. Doesn't that mean it has to be centralized at one point?
Yeah, and that's why I brought the attention to, I've seen arguments on both sides that, government regulation and, things like that would at least make the transaction process easier. I mean, I was hearing things. I think it was the mayor of Miami.
Okay.
That
Is that Pitbull?
No, he's already talking about having salaries paid to his employees in Bitcoin,
Jeez.
having pension plans going through Bitcoin, and things of that nature. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I think there's still a lot of things in the air that can either make it or break it. But I'm still gonna take the side of that it's here to stay.
For sure.
I really can.
All right, Nick, what do you think? Because I've got my thoughts on that too.
You pose a really interesting argument about like centralization, all this other stuff with Bitcoin. But here, to quote Janet Yellen, recently she said,
Are you talking about the lady that just received $7.2 million for no reason over the weekend?
For no
or
reason?
This week, actually.
What? Who gave it to her?
I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, but this one. Let me look this up. So you speak
Okay.
your thoughts. Let me.
Okay.
Let's talk. Let's get a little weird here.
Let's get weird. Okay, so Janet Yellen, right? She, to quote her, I don't have it in front of me, but I know she said something about Bitcoin and being used for nefarious purposes, right? I would argue that the U.S. dollar is used for more nefarious purposes than any kind of other currency in the world. If you think about drug cartels, any kind of drug currency, terrorist money, whatever you want to say, U.S. dollar is like the standard for nefarious purposes. And my other argument is you can't track a dollar like the way you can track cryptocurrency, right? Because crypto is on platforms, right? So if the government was smart and they wanted to tax money, and they wanted some tax benefits from a currency, crypto is a perfect place because you can track everywhere it's going. You can't track paper money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To a point you can, but you can't track it as you would with a digital currency, a digital transaction.
Sure, but here's the thing. So let's say that somebody who did not like crypto, a crypto hater, was here, and they said, "But how can you do that with a currency that fluctuates so much in value?" What would you say to those individuals? Which, by the way, so while you guys think of your thought, so I was wrong. So she did not receive $7.26 million in one lump sum.
a lot.
She didn't receive that. So apparently, since she left the reserve in 2018, she received $7.26 million in speaking fees.
Yeah.
In the last 2 years, in speaking fees.
That was a big point of a lot of the drama that was happening with GameStop and stuff, because I think Citadel bailed out one of their hedge fund buddies, and I forgot what his name was. I'll have to go back, but he's the one that had paid her, and it was just like it was getting mixed in, but yeah, she's interesting. There was a quote that what's her name? Janet Yellen?
Yeah, Janet Yellen.
She said she loses sleep at night knowing that there's a currency that they do not control.
That's
kind of scary. Well, and she's the U.S. Treasury Secretary now.
She was.
She is right now.
She is right now.
Yeah.
She used to be the chair Fed.
She got assigned. Yeah, she got assigned by the Biden administration.
Oh, got it. Treasurer. I thought you were talking about the Federal Reserve.
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah. But yeah, she's the Treasury Secretary now.
She loses sleep.
Yes.
Over.
Let us know, guys, in the comments, what are your guys' questions? There's a lot going on right now. The minimum wage, talks are going on right now. Congress is going over the American Rescue Plan and what they want to keep and what they don't with the
what is the
response
what
plan.
is that? What is that, by the way? The American Rescue Plan. I've read some stuff on it, but I haven't gotten the whole spiel.
Yeah, and so right now it's basically just a relief plan. That the next relief plan, it's $1.9 trillion of relief that they're trying to do, and I'll read some of the things that are off right now, which is the first thing is the $1,400 per person.
Hey, you know what I'm going to do with that? Sorry, not to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
But I'm throwing that all into cryptocurrency, man.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, why not?
Which one?
All of them.
All of them? How many are there now? I feel like it's to the point where it's just like Korean pop bands. Like there's too many.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, but they're all good.
There's a lot.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Joel.
Yeah, so no, what I was saying is that right now we got $1,400 per person on top of the $600 already issued. That's a total of $465 billion. We got the increasing unemployment insurance to $400 a week from $300. That's another, I believe, $350 billion. Provide funding for the vaccination program, testing, all that stuff, $160 billion. School reopening and increase to funding schools and colleges. It's another $107 billion. They're going to expand the child tax credit, and they're going to provide rental and small landlord support. And I think that's one of the things that they were arguing about as well. Provide support to child care providers, other policy changes. That's a total of $1.9 trillion. So right now, there's just a bunch of vote offs on what they want to keep, what they don't. Apparently, Joe Biden has mentioned that he's open to discuss certain things. One of them not being the amount of 1.9 trillion, because I think the Republicans were more happy with a 600 billion, not a 1.9 trillion. So that's going on right now, and yeah, it's getting interesting for sure.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see how that meshes with the minimum wage conversation.
Yeah,
like with all the stimulus that's going on, plus the minimum wage. I mean, man, I don't know. I mean, I know you got some information on minimum wage. Let's talk about that now. Let's talk about minimum wage.
The funny thing is, one of the things that was proposed with this is a direct increase of the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour right away. And it's funny because in some of the debates that they were having, the one and only Bernie Sanders out of everybody actually opposed that. He's more for his plan of having it increase to $15 over the next 5 years, but not right away.
Got it. Here's what I want to understand. Like, if you're in LA or if you live in the city of Chicago, $15 an hour makes sense at minimum wage. But if you're in like Decatur, Illinois, or if you're in like, I don't know, Killian, Texas, like, dude, you're gonna destroy a lot of small businesses. Yeah, I mean, you really are. I mean, you're gonna get a lot of people hiring virtual assistants. You're gonna get, people hiring different. I mean, it's such an interesting time for me that we're having this discussion of minimum wage increase in a time where, labor has become so globalized, where everybody can work remotely. Like Sam and I, we have a lot of VAs. We have a team of VAs.
So we actually have someone ask a pretty good question here. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good.
Edwin Matlock asked, will the new minimum 15 wage be the version of the UBI? I guess universal basic income, boosting income for each family with the help of Biden. That's interesting. Is that just like a different way of introducing, more guaranteed income for families? What do you think?
I don't know what you boys think, but I like the increase to 15 an hour more than UBI.
Yeah.
I do like it more than UBI. The issue that I have with UBI is that why don't you just cut taxes?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, I'm going to give you the money to then give back to me.
I'll tell you why, because it sounds better.
Yeah.
And Andrew Yang, which was like the, biggest component to this whole UBI thing, he's running for mayor, right? And I think he's going to win.
Yeah, he's a smart dude,
I like Andrew. I like Andrew Yang.
He
He built a business. And I think one of the reasons why he likes it is because it's popular. I mean, everyone wants to hear. You're hearing about it right now. People love getting that check in, right? That's, sometimes what, had people vote for one party or the other is who's going to give me more money?
Who's going to give me more stimulus?
More stimulus money. So I think it sounds great. But you're right. Why don't we just cut taxes?
Why don't we just cut taxes? Does anybody have a good opposition in the chat box? For those guys that are watching, like, why don't we just cut taxes? Or better yet, for anybody making less than 30,000 or 36,000 or whatever number, they just don't pay taxes.
Yeah, I'm a much bigger fan because I agree with you. Every state is so different.
Every state is so different.
You can't compare California, Los Angeles with, a small town in Texas.
Yeah.
With a small business that literally can't afford. Your small business has already gone through just terrible things.
Hell, man.
And for you to require a higher amount of capital to start a business because your employees, you got to pay them more cost of labor, it's gonna be tough for a lot of these small guys. So I'd be a big fan of. I'm not against raising the minimum wage, but I think it more should be per state. It should be per state basis, or even depending what the what cities are in, because everyone's city is different.
Think about the small businesses too. Like the ones that are really gonna be hurt more are the ones that actually promote community amongst a community. I mean, think about the companies that they can't afford to hire virtual. Like, you can't hire virtual assistants for a restaurant.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
There's no way. Like, how do you hire a virtual assistant for a massage parlor, for a grocery store, for you can't hire a virtual. So imagine like a small business that relies so much on actual physical retail labor.
Yeah.
You can't raise the minimum wage 15.
Yeah, they're done.
They've been done. Dude.
This is going to be just
this is it.
Well, this was the argument that Andrew Yang was making for the UBI. Is that, technology and artificial intelligence is going to replace a lot of the job market. And that's why he wants to implement that.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I love the argument that he made. I don't agree with it to a certain degree, but I love the argument that he made. He said there is one state right now that is technically doing UBI, which is Alaska. So Alaska gives their citizens $1,000 to $2,000 a year, apparently, automatic, no questions asked.
Yeah.
And people are asking, like, well, where's that money coming from? Well, it's because it's oil, right? Like the oil industry is funding,
RIP,
right?
R.I.P. the oil industry.
Right, exactly. The oil industry is completely funding, but that's the problem that I have. It's like, well, what happens to your precious UBI plan when an oil industry dies off like this?
Yeah.
What happens?
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people are saying, well, tech is now the new oil. Well, I don't know if I agree with that because tech has become so globalized that you can't. I mean, it's so hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're gonna do UBI for the whole. We call that the Great Reset. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yep.
there it is. So Justin Kim asked another question. I think this is a great question. He had a follow-up question. He says, is all this stimulus sustainable for the long run? Printing all this money does not make any sense. Is it sustainable? And then he also comes with, okay, if it is not sustainable, then what is the alternative to that?
Yeah. So here's the thing. Here's what I think. So I'm gonna use an example because we're all big combat sports fans. You know what I mean? Nick, you and I, all three of us, we're big UFC/boxing fans. We love boxing. We love UFC. Here's what I think the stimulus is like. This is kind of like when a fighter cuts weight to make weight. So obviously, you know, we'll use Conor McGregor because he's obviously the most popular, you know, star, right, in the combat sports arena. So when Conor fight Dustin Poirier, he weighed 100. He weighed in at 155 pounds. Conor McGregor does not weigh exactly 155 pounds on fight day.
Yeah.
He probably weighed about 173, 174, right? What the government, I believe, is doing right now with stimulus is like cutting weight. You know, you temporarily weigh that much for about a duration of what, an hour? You cut weight, Nick, right before Nick?
Yeah, it's pretty awful.
It's pretty awful. So how long are you in that weight?
I mean, not very long, depending on how big you are before you start cutting. I mean, fighters cut weeks out. You know, they'll start their cut, you know, just to kind of slowly do it. But like the day of, I mean, if you're behind, like you're cutting like 10, 15 pounds.
Yeah.
But you're not staying at that weight for much longer other than just getting at the weight. And then right after that, you're going to the, like,
so how long? Like an hour, would you say you were at that weight? Like if you're cutting down to 170?
Yeah, roughly. Roughly about an hour, yeah.
So you're there for about an hour. So right now, that's kind of what our economy is facing.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a good analogy.
It's a great, thank you, right? But that's what they're doing, right? But by putting in more stimulus, you got to cut. In order for there to be more sustainable change, what do you got to do? You got to change the system.
Yeah.
You got to change the American financial system. You guys know this, right? There's about 62 people watching right now. You guys know this. The American financial system is not here to help you. It's not.
Yeah.
Right? If you're talking about the insurance industry, you're talking about the banking industry, you're talking about the investment industry, none of these industries are here to help you.
Yeah.
Right? So what do? We got to take matters into our own hands. Right? We can't rely on a system to be sustainable anymore.
Well, so I'm going to bring this up because he's countering your point. Jermaine says they just gave $2 trillion to the rich, and they didn't even need it. Poor people need help now. Once the economy gets better and COVID is at least minimized, then let's discuss the deficit. So basically, let's put a Band-Aid on, and then let's
kick the can down the road.
Well, that's what I mean. So Jermaine, if anything, I actually agree with you, and I think Jermaine actually agrees with me too, because a lot of the stimulus that's happening, Jermaine, you're absolutely right. You know, if you look at the market share for, do you guys look at the market share for Amazon, Walmart?
Oh, it's ridiculous.
And these big things, and how much it increased in 2020. It did not help small businesses at all.
No.
So Jermaine, to the point, I actually agree with you, man, because, dude, I mean, all the stimulus that's happening right now, we've got to change the system to help out the little guys a little bit more. But vice versa, there's got to be incentives for the little guys to understand more financial literacy, for them to actually understand what's going on. Because, Joel, how many times, Nick too, how many times did we see these guys that get their $600 stimulus checks and the first thing they do is go buy Jordans?
Yeah. Or they put it in GameStop and lose it all.
Right.
Lose it all. So I think when you give people money but don't tell them how to use it, and that was I think Ben Shapiro was having a conversation with Andrew Yang, and that was his. And then Andrew Yang did have another counterintuitive saying, well, a lot of it is just the stress behind not having the money in the first place. If you give them some sort of level of security, you're able to then think about, hey, all right, I've got at least the mindset to do it. But it can go both ways.
So I think it will help the poor. I think Andrew does have a point there where, look, $1,000 for certain people, it goes a long ways. I think Andrew Yang was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and Joe Rogan was like, man, $1,000 a month, that can't really help out people, could it? And then one of the most liked comments was this dude who literally was like, man, $1,000 right now would take care of 3 months worth of my rent.
Yeah.
It would take care of some of the bills I haven't been able to pay in a long time. It would do a lot for me.
Now, I don't know if this is kind of a side topic, but how do you think, then someone asked this question, and I'll kind of summarize it. How do you think the minimum wage will affect the real estate market?
Yeah, so I saw resellers 7 comments.
Yeah.
So I saw that.
So reseller 7 asked, you're in real estate, raising the minimum wage in the South and Southeast would cause real estate values to soar. Is that not a good thing?
So I don't know why he's bringing up specifically the Southeast, because right now the Southeast is actually experiencing a very big boom in real estate.
Yeah.
So Southeast,
Without it, yeah.
Dude, you're talking about Florida. You're talking about the Carolinas. You're talking about Georgia. Which, by the way, do you guys know what's happening in Georgia? Literally Hollywood is moving to Georgia.
Oh yeah, that's been a
Tyler
thing
Perry?
for a while.
TP.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Tyler. I
Yeah.
really am a big fan of Tyler Perry, and I think that's great. I mean, more
sure.
money, better. That's good for them.
Yeah, but I mean, it's literally. I mean, the market right now is already soaring. So I mean, I don't know why you would want the market to soar even more. As a real estate investor, I don't want prices to be soaring at 10% every single year. I don't want that as a real estate investor, right? Because it causes a lot of problems. That, my friends, is what you call a bubble.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want that. That's very unhealthy levels. And increasing the minimum wage is not necessarily going to do anything for your single family housing markets.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times the individuals that buy single family homes and they get mortgages, if you look at the tenant pool of renters, a lot of them actually end up getting mortgages.
Yeah.
They don't end up so I mean, their income, yes, it will matter, but a lot of those people that are applying for those mortgages make more than $15 an hour anyways.
Yeah.
So even like my assistant, Hosanna, right? Like we all love her. She recently just bought a townhouse. She makes more than $15 an hour, right?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, in our office, we don't pay anybody less than $15 an hour by far, right? So a lot of those people, so you're more so looking at the tenants, right? The tenants. The only increase there's no increase that's going to happen, because even if with your tenants they're paying $15 an hour or whatever, they're getting $15 an hour. If the rents go up, yes, the values of commercial real estate will go up, like your apartments, which by the way does not affect the housing market, because the housing market implies single family houses.
Yes.
There's no values that's really going to increase. You know, there's really not a whole lot.
And this kind of ties into that as well, because this affects a single family. You guys may have talked about this, but I think was that they were talking about the $15,000 credit.
Yeah, I hate that idea.
Towards that,
I think that's the dumbest idea.
Did they not try that? While Obama was in office, I don't know if they tried that or not. I may be wrong, but what do you think about that? I think you guys talked about that last week. But what do you think about the 15?
So we're actually going to release a video on Monday at 6 p.m. and I'm going to detail my thoughts. I'm going to actually provide my solution to the affordable housing crisis. So go check it out Monday at 6 p.m. Right, Nick?
Yes, sir.
So Monday at 6 p.m. Stay tuned. That's why, again, I would like for you guys to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And also click on the notification bell. That way you can get notified. I mean, if you guys want to unclick it after you watch the video, great. But you know what I mean? But it would help us out a lot. But I'm releasing that video on Monday. But I kind of want to go back. I want to go back to this whole real estate thing.
Okay.
Right? Because Edwin put in a good point. He said, Atlanta has a tax credit for people who have entertainment companies.
Yes.
This is the way change is made, folks.
Yes.
Incentivize the producers.
Yeah.
That's the main premise.
Yeah, you have to. Like you have to incentivize the people that are actually providing long-term sustainable jobs.
Yeah.
Right. I think for a long time, too many people have looked, at the government as, and I don't know if they do this for a purpose. I don't want to get into conspiracies or anything like that. Yeah. But I'm a huge fan. I agree with you on that. I want to disagree more with you on certain things to make this more interesting. But you're exactly right. Incentivize the producers. People like, Tyler Perry, who's an unbelievable entrepreneur, right? That can get stuff done. Someone like him can provide long-term jobs to people that can buy homes.
Yeah.
I hope the best for the Atlanta, economy, with just giving more long-term sustainable jobs. I'm all about the jobs. So, how can we add more long-term sustainable jobs? I think that's really the long-term solution, in my opinion, of what we should be doing. Yeah,
and Jason Azevedo, right? He put in a really good point too, where it's just an average wage puts all the ultra rich with the poor boosting figures, right? He also put in most people are poor and the truth is being hidden from the public, which is absolutely true, man. Think about the amount of tax strategies that the average American does not know.
No, yeah.
Like, I mean, like if I were to ask the average American, hey, do you know what an HSA is?
Yeah.
Do you know what a whole life insurance policy is?
Yeah.
I mean, these are some of the things that we like preach here at the Kwak Brothers as one of the best financial tools to increase your financial acumen.
And here's the other thing. When you provide tax credits to businesses to build, they will lead to paying people more than $15 an hour. You don't have to force it upon anybody. No. Trust me, like most business owners that I know, they want to be able to pay their people as much as they can.
Yeah.
I really have never met a business owner that's like doesn't want to pay their people.
Yeah.
And so when you look at places that, enforce these different types of laws, like California, that's providing more red tape than incentives for business to stay, they go and people, states like that, you have to force it because, like I said, they won't do it on their own. And so, like I said, when you incentivize those tax credits and you learn, you give them the financial literacy to be able to realize, hey, where can we bring more people and provide the jobs, it will automatically lead to higher wages. For sure. Naturally.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I pulled up a statistic here, right? So it's by the Hoover Institution. So it is a little it is a little late, right? So or a little old. So this came out on September 8th, 2020. So it came out about 5 months ago. So, research wise it's very old. But they said between 2009, 2016 13,000 businesses left California. Recently, in just 2018 and 2019 alone, which, by the way, were economic boom years, 765 commercial facilities left California. California is ranked 48th in terms of regulatory burdens, meaning that they're number 3 in the amount of burdens, which, by the way, I'm willing to bet New York and Illinois are probably 49 and 50, right? The cost of living in California is 50% higher than the national average. Higher than the national average. So all these businesses leaving California, moving to places like Utah. I mean, we got YouTubers leaving, right? They're moving to Texas.
I lead the campaign here at the office to get out of here as well. Daniel's guys, let us know in the comments. What do you think? Should we stay in Illinois? Or should we head over to Nashville, Tennessee, baby?
If anything, so I talked to Lisa about this. If anything, if we were to move, Nashville is a strong contender.
Yes.
But we even talked about like Idaho.
Yeah.
Like Idaho's not, because it's like right by the ski slopes.
The thing is that Idaho, everyone from California is moving to places like Idaho. So imagine us moving and then all of a sudden.
It's very peaceful.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's very
You're right.
There's
but guys,
not a lot.
get this up to 30 likes and we will move to Nashville.
No, if we get out of here, bro.
If we get this up to 30 likes, Daniel will be convinced that we can go to Nashville, but
he's the only point of resistance here.
So to get back on topic here, so Jason, get off from this asinine topic that we've got going on here, moving. But and I'll say, like, I'm not really motivated by taxes. I mean, you guys know that I'm not very motivated by money. But Jason made a good point. So he says that the whole system is dependent on more debt creation, and that, my friends, is what I have issue. Because guess what? The rich control. They control the debt.
Yeah.
That's why if you, for all of you guys that have an issue with wealth inequality, that's it right there, right? Because a lot of times that the I don't want to say the poor individual, but the financially inefficient individuals, whatever money that they receive, they spend it on. Which, by the way, I was in Vegas a month ago. I was doing the Brad Lee podcast.
Brad's the man.
Brad's the man, dude. Dropping Bombs podcast. Shout out to my friend Brad Lee. But I was there in Vegas. And my wife and I, we stayed at the Aria because I've always wanted to stay at the Aria. It's a nice place. My wife used to work at a company called Aria. And so there was this place called the Crystal Shops right across the street from the Aria. It's very well connected to the actual hotel.
Yeah.
And I was on an Uber over there. And I was like, hey, we're staying at the Aria. The Uber driver's super cool guy. This is a Latino guy.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, Aria, man, I saw Conor McGregor there last month. I saw Drake there last month. Floyd Mayweather was there. By the way, he said Floyd Mayweather was like the nicest guy in the world, right? Tipped the guy $500.
Wow.
Right. But these Crystal Shops, it's a mall where they only have designer stuff. So they have Gucci, they've got I don't know any of these brands. Louis Vuitton, right? Yeah. Versace, they have all these great brands. And I walked in. But the people shopping there, and I talked to some of the people, right, the security guys. Yeah. I'm always interested. I'm very curious.
Yep.
And I talked to these securities guys, and my wife and I were asking, like, hey, just by the way, who shops here? Is it like all celebrities? Like I heard Conor McGregor was here, how Drake was here, which, by the way, Drake apparently like is this weirdo.
I could see that.
But I was like, well, who shops here? He's like, dude, 99% of the people who shop here make probably less than $100,000 a year.
Yeah,
Most
I believe
people.
that. I believe that.
But here's the thing. Here's how this wealth gap and this whole system, how it gets all screwed up, is that a lot of these individuals, they buy these unnecessary things, right? I mean, Pastor Rick Warren says that we use money we don't have to buy things we don't even need to impress people we don't even like.
Yeah.
And then, we buy these things, but guess what? These companies, they accrue debt to do the marketing, to do the sales to these individual people. The rich people are the ones buying that debt.
Yes.
In the form of corporate bonds, whatever it means. So Jason made a really good point here, because to control the debt, it means to control the system.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people don't realize right now.
I like Jason. Jason, you're smart, man. Seriously. And no, that's true. And you think about it, like, just look at who this pandemic has benefited the most.
Yes.
Look at who the stimulus money, because you're right. People, they'll go on Amazon, they'll spend the money, right? Because it's money they didn't have yesterday. And, the financial habits of the people that are at the position that they are obviously aren't the reason they're in that financial position is because they don't know how to utilize a lot of times those resources. And so you keep giving them the money, right? And to an extent you have to, but you also will get the repercussions of being spent on things that really aren't going to help anybody but people like Amazon, people like the companies that are for things like this for a reason, right? And so
and here's what worries me, man. It's like this whole thing that's going on with GameStop, and I don't know if you guys checked GameStop today. Let me check GME right now. The prices for GME GameStop is at $36.30.
Ooh.
$36.30. 5 days ago, it was at $316.56. GME is at $63 right now. And what worries me is that, for a moment there, we had a resurgence. We said that, hey, the common group of people can band together and level the playing field against these big banks and these big hedge funds. But now I fear a lot of people are going to get turned off from investing. Like, that's what I'm really afraid of, right? That people are going to get turned off. They're going to go back to buying Jordans. They're going to go back to driving a Mercedes when they only make $50,000 a year, right? Like, that's what I'm afraid of. And for a while, we had people interested in financial literacy. We had people interested in investing in stocks. We had people interested in investing, period.
Well, most people, the reason why people bought into the whole GameStop, because it was a quick way of getting cash. People, I don't think they were saying they want to invest, but they didn't want to invest. They wanted to flip their money from one day to another, because people are getting desperate. I mean, there's no money coming in, there's no jobs, and so when people get their money, I mean, they're gambling it.
But look what's happening now. When you have a bunch of people with that mindset of, I'm just gonna flip my money, make quick money real quick, I'm gonna gamble. This is what happens.
Yeah.
The market, literally GameStop has crashed. This is a crash, folks.
Yeah.
The stock has crashed, and I hope it goes up again. I hope that Wall Street Bets is a lot smarter than what they actually are, and they want the price to go down so that these big hedge funds can short it again, and then they could jack up the prices again. I hope that's what's happening right now. I really, really do. But again, that's what worries me the most, is that, man, these people, the mentality of short-term thinking, the mentality of, let me just make my money real quick, let me gamble. Folks, that is what causes a crash. That is not real investing. You got to get educated. You got to learn. You got to know the way the game is played.
I've always told people, because a lot of the stuff that we do here obviously is financial education.
Yeah.
There's a reason why banks and government organizations want people uneducated about finances, because at the end that's what puts money in their pockets.
Yeah.
Banks, they make more money on having people uneducated than having people educated.
Well, not just banks, but insurance industries, everything,
everybody,
bro.
Everybody,
everything.
Yeah.
Even especially the investment banks, dude. Think about all these big terminology. Think about the amount of people that didn't know what a short squeeze was.
Yeah.
Before this whole GameStop thing happened, dude. I think Graham Stephan put a video out explaining what happened with GameStop, and literally in like 10 hours, it got over 1 million views. Let me look up the video right now, see how many views that it got. But I mean, think about the amount. And I'm not telling you guys that you need to know what a short squeeze is, what an options, what a put, what a call, what a future is. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if you're going to invest your money in something, you should probably know what you're investing into. That's why I always tell people, look, if you're going to pick something to invest, choose something you're passionate about.
Yeah. And I think Edwin makes a good point. And I think this is something for everybody to look forward to. He says the normal person will put their head down and go back to their regular routine, but the social media has started and the conversation will keep the conversation going. So I do think that the hands of education are changing.
Yeah.
You have, channels like ours, and there's a ton of great channels out there that are teaching a little bit more of an untraditional way of how to handle finances. Yeah. And I think that's great, because you want to put the education in the people, and the more education that we have, because we all know that they're not going to be teaching this in school.
No.
You know, and I think it is getting better, and I hope it gets better.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's anything they're going to implement in the financial education anytime soon, at least in, you know, what the government controls. And so it is exciting seeing, you know, people learn about it more. And I hope people learn that I hope that what happened with GameStop, people take that as a learning experience, saying, hey, like, let's not just gamble, but let's learn.
Let's actually learn.
There's real people making real money.
This is actually
in the market.
exciting.
This is exciting, right? You can make money like that. You know, when you do your research and things like that, but it is exciting. We need more.
I have a confession though.
What's
your
up, brother?
Confession?
Okay, I'll be honest. I wanted something quick the other day.
Oh.
So I'll tell a quick story, and you guys tell me how stupid I am, okay?
Well, I mean, we don't think you're stupid no matter what you say.
Oh, okay.
You could literally just say, yeah, guys, I went into GameStop and I just sold all my kids. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we still won't think you're stupid.
Okay, thank you. Well, I appreciate that. So I found myself on Reddit, right? And this whole crypto thing, right? It wasn't even Wall Street Bets, but there was like some movement with this altcoin, you know, called XRP that I'm a huge fan of now. But I got caught up in the pump and dump, man. I really did. I'll be 100% honest. But what I learned about it, I started investing more.
Yeah.
And I invested more because although I got kind of screwed over with the price that I bought it at, because it was a pump and dump, right? There was a big coordinated effort, but it was kind of, you know, it was a little shady. But it motivated me to learn more about it. It motivated me to like look further into it. So it was kind of just like a blessing in disguise, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and look, and here's what we're saying. Here's what Joel and I think are saying is there's nothing wrong with what you did. There's nothing wrong with pump and dump. You know what I mean? Because once you do it, once you're looking to make money, it's like if you learn, you will be rewarded. If you don't, then you're gonna lose money. But the problem that I have with pump and dump is that a lot of these big Wall Street guys know that's what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they manipulate the market.
And look, this may get people mad, but they're not too different than what really what the Wall Street guys are doing. Because by the time that the Wall Street bet, you know, people are putting they've already put their money in.
Yeah.
By the time they call it their dump, they're taking their money out.
Yeah.
If you really think about it. And I think it's smart for them, but at the same time, like a lot of these people are getting played. I mean, I was on TikTok. I love TikTok.
Yeah.
And, you know, I heard stories of, you know, people losing their savings on there. Those are people that will never go back to investing money if they invested that kind. If they put 10 grand, that's all they had in their savings account because they thought it was going to turn to 100,000. It's going to be very hard to get people like that to invest back into the market or things like that.
You know what's the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this whole GameStop Wall Street Bets thing? I was like, this is kind of like an MLM.
Yeah.
Or like if you get in early and you pull your money out while it's at the top, you make your money, but you do it at the expense of the people who come in late, the people at the bottom of the pyramid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I mean, think about this: is like the only reason why the value went so high was because everybody bought.
And there's a good saying, and I actually really like this rule: if it's on social media or if it's on mainstream media, you're probably already late.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my rule.
You're probably already late.
But here's the thing: that's why I love real estate. Because real estate, there's always an opportunity. There's always a deal there out there. There's always a way to make money because there's so many different strategies that you can do based on where the market's at right now. And you have 100% of the control when you're investing in real estate. But let's go ahead and wrap up, guys. It's almost to the hour, top of the hour. Any last comments, thoughts, what's happening right now with minimum wage, everything we kind of talked about the last hour or so? What are you guys' thoughts to wrap it up?
Yeah, and then one last update that I had. I know this is something that Sam usually takes care of with the EIDL grant, the $10,000 advance grant.
Yeah, give us the update, man.
Yeah, there is new information. So for anybody that did get the $1,000 or quote unquote $1,000 per employee, or I think that's what they were doing, they are going to start sending out emails on the actual $10,000 advance. So they're doing the full 10,000 or the difference of. So if you got the 1,000, you get 9. They're going to start sending out emails to go ahead and apply to get that. There are some. It is more targeted this time. I think from looking at it here, you do have to be based. Your business address has to be located out of a low-income community. I would look that up of what that goes under with tax code.
Hey, Warrenville, Naperville's low income, right?
Is it?
No, definitely not.
I don't think it is.
Definitely not.
And you do have to provide proof of a loss, I think, of 30% income going down. And so we probably don't qualify for that either.
We definitely don't qualify. If anything, we have the opposite problem.
Yeah.
All right. Nick, any last thoughts, comments on what we talked about today?
No, sir. This is not financial advice. I'm just a degenerate gambler.
We're just Bunch of idiots.
We're a bunch of
Sure.
apes.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all a bunch of animals in a spinning rock? right?
Right.
Traveling through time and space. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching again. Don't forget
Wait.
to like this video. Oh, yeah. What you
Yeah,
got, bro?
before
What you
we got 5 minutes more, I want to ask you guys down at the bottom.
Yes.
What team are you guys on? Are you on Team SpaceX?
I'm going. Oh, God. I
are
think it's about
you
the Super Bowl.
or are you on Team Blue Origin? I know we heard Jeff Bezos stepping
Yeah.
out, probably focus more on Blue Origin.
here's
I'm
the thing,
Team
man.
Elon all the way.
No matter whether SpaceX wins or Blue Origin wins, I still win.
Why is that?
Because I'm investing in areas where they're
Oh, that is
competing
true.
head to head.
Ooh.
So no matter what, I'm winning, baby. So Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, I hope you guys duke it out. Because I'm gonna be sitting in the ringside like Dana White, looking looking in the ring with my suit on, with my Python shoes, Python shoes, and I'm gonna be enjoying every last bit of round for round, brawl for brawl, because it does benefit me as the real estate investor investing in these areas. Which, by the way, if you guys want to join in on my fund, if you're interested in being a passive investor, email me at daniel@thekwakbrothers.com. We've got a lot of great opportunities in the places where SpaceX and Blue Origin will be competing head to head. We are setting up a fund for that. So
Can you
please
tell
reach
us the
out to me.
location?
I cannot. I'm sorry. I
He
cannot.
cannot
disclose.
send location.
I cannot send location. Send location. So email me, guys, at daniel@thekwakbrothers.com. We are opening up a fund to take advantage of a lot of the things. We've got, in the area that I'm talking about, we've got 6 billionaires competing.
Wow.
6 billionaires competing in the space industry. 6 of them. 6 billionaires. They
Yeah.
do not care about the recession.
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be
It's going to be
interesting
awesome.
to see.
And also, one more thing. Comment, who you got? Buccaneers or the Chiefs? I got the Buccaneers, man. I love Tom Brady.
And last second statement for me, we are at 32 likes, which means that the Quackers will be officially
Yeah!
moving to Nashville, Tennessee.
Let's go. I tell you what.
I tell you what.
I'll tell you what, man.
I tell you what, these liberals. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great Super Bowl weekend. Thank you to Joel for joining us. We'll probably have him back next week. And also thank you, as well, always to Nick,
Thank you.
our moderator, producer, and YouTube researcher. Thank you guys so much. Have a great weekend. Subscribe to our channel. Like this video. Click on that notification bell. And don't worry, guys. And don't forget, Monday at 6 p.m., we are releasing my solution for the affordable housing crisis in America. Thank you guys again. Have a great weekend.